If there's one thing louder than silence, it's absence. Grandpa was asthmatic. Grandpa was a 5'10" skinny orphan who slipped in love letters in Grandma's textbooks, sweeping her off her feet with just 300 pesos in his pocket. Grandpa was a storyteller. The storyteller. Was. I don't know much about the poetry of grief, because it was something that we've always carried, draping across our shoulders, dragging from our backs, not even a milestone or a lesson, but just an ache and a longing so unbearable. How do you even write about that? So instead of the pen, we grasped at grains of sand, like Grandpa with the beige golfer's hat and sage bomber jacket. Grandpa cold, always cold. Grandpa exclaiming, "Oh my golly!" Grandpa dancing with his eyes closed and shoulders hunched up, fists raised and swaying to the music. Grandpa's film camera, the one he was always behind and rarely in front of. Grandpa's kisses, lips and nose pressed against our cheeks, a deep inhale like a sniff. That's how he always greeted us. Look, I don't know much about the poetry of loss, except the irony of it. How it fills you heavy, slowly, and leaves you empty with every exhale until you're forced to acknowledge that whatever Grandpa and Grandma left you both created and filled a void when they passed on. How do you even write about that? So instead, I remember how it was unfathomable, a concept where Grandpa was without Grandma, or vice versa, because if I were to describe the epitome of who Grandpa was to us, it would be this. Grandpa humming Unchained Melody under his breath at my grandma's bedside. Grandpa asking Grandma if he could kiss her. Grandpa never leaving my grandma's side. In a sunlit room in a state where deserts thrive, where a golden glow seeped through age-wrinkled hands, and where Grandpa bent over the edge of a bed, I heard it. Wherever you go, I'll go too. So of course, less than a year later when Grandma finally left us, he followed. You see, I don't know much about the poetry of love, except, like our grandpa's heart and lungs, sometimes it is too full, too heavy to carry. How do you even write about that? So instead, we light a candle for the ones who taught us the silver lining, the beauty in the struggle, the recipe to laughter. And that most of all, if we love one another, loved our own selves as Lolo and Lola loved us, that's something that would remain even more immortalized than writing a poem on paper, something that would stay with us forever.
Daddy ko